Listen, Tony Romo's going to need a minute, everybody. He is going to need a minute. I cannot. How does he end up on every Bills game? Does it like? I know he was joking back when the Dolphins played the Bills. He's like, "Oh, Jim, we're already calling that Week 18 game." I'm like, "What? When did he get to make the schedule? Is that what happens when you make $40 million a year?" Remember when he used to predict plays? Tony Romo used to actually put some effort into it. You'd be like, "Oh, Jim." Now he's just like, "Oh, it's only Josh Allen. It's the only guy he likes." Jalen Hurts is out here doing amazing stuff, throwing the ball across his body to give the Eagles the lead. And he's like, pretty good throw, Jim, but wait till Josh Allen gets the ball right back. That's going to be the best. And, I mean, this guy is such a Bills homer. I mean, he is doing the game. They don't show a Romo cam, but if they did, I imagine you just go to him, he's slathered in buffalo sauce with how much he is in the bag for the Bills. Because this guy, talking about a 500 team at one point, is like, Jim, you could actually argue that they're better than the Eagles. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? What is this lunacy that I'm listening to? Tough go of it, eh, Bills? That's a tough one. Listen, been there. Those Eagles are tough. I mean, like they needed the refs to beat the Dolphins. But good effort, good show. It was 6-6. That's tough sledding. That's don't you have the Chiefs coming up too? Yeesh. It's gonna get dicey for the Bills. Gonna need a hell of a rally at the end of this season because 6-6. Dicey. Well, don't worry. In Tony Romo's book, you guys are division champs. That's the way you got to look at it. At least by the end of the year, whatever happens to the Buffalo Bills, you could always hang the Romo banner. Oh, wow. Chiefs and Cowboys coming up. Eow. Woof. Chiefs, Cowboys at Chargers. And finish off with the Dolphins. Not great, Buffalo. Not great. That's tough. Miami Dolphins, of course. We know this week they took care of they TCB. They took care of those stinking Jets who threw Tim Boyle out there. But wow. I mean, look, I will give it for Josh Allen. He had himself a good game. Did have a critical pick that brought the Eagles back into this thing. He's good for that always. And him and Gabe Davis couldn't get on the same page. That would have ended that puppy. And that was the other thing that was funny about Tony Romo. This video is mostly just to make fun of Tony Romo, by the way. Jim Nantz had the audacity to just bring up a fact, which is Josh Allen has never won an overtime game. Never. He's now 0-6. And they bring this fact up. And Tony Romo throws himself in front of his beloved baby boy, Josh. Oh, Jim, don't you say that about, he didn't get his hands on the football in some of those. Jim Nantz is like, all right, Tony, all right, calm down, dude. Just reading the graphic. But like Jim Nantz, who's been broadcasting forever, he's got to deal with this mascot in the booth who's just like, I mean, he's irate. Darius Slay was all over him, Jim. Oh, A.J. Brown fumbled. That was a close play, though. But I thought for sure, look, if A.J. Brown, if that's an incomplete pass, I will say, if that's an incomplete pass for A.J. Brown, that Tyreek Hill was not a fumble. I'm just saying. But you know what? Doesn't matter at this point. All you care about is the Buffalo Bills. They dropped to 6-6. The Dolphins have a 3-game division lead right now, and are in a good spot. Of course, with the Bills' schedule not getting easier, and the Dolphins, of course, having a very favorable schedule to try and fatten this record up. But as we've said, the Dolphins are in the catbird seat. All right, they are sitting pretty. They are in a position to just keep taking advantage of what's in front of them. If they can do that, they're going to be in a great spot. They are going to be in a great spot by the end of this season. They can get to this monster gauntlet at the end of the year where they got to take on Dallas, Baltimore. I kind of feel like I got to rethink whatever that, who knows what that Week 18 game is at that point. Maybe the Bills are going to be tanking for pick position. I don't know. Who's to know? I don't know what they're going to do. I mean, look, Tony Romo wants to make this point differential. So, like, this is the NBA in-season tournament. And so in his mind, they'll still be playing for the division championship. But in Math's mind, I don't think it's going to work out like that. But, hey, crazier things have happened. that one, and listen, that Eagles team is tough, and the only thing I can think of when I was watching this, first of all, man, they show Bradley Cooper a lot. They don't show Darius Rucker that much on the broadcast when he's at these Dolphins games. It's a strange thing, but also, they go with this Jason Kelsey, and he has these 2 false starts, and I just think to myself, Philadelphia sports radio is going to be completely reasonable with that legend. And it doesn't matter because it's Philly. So like they're going to be talking about, what about less podcasting? How about you snap it when you're supposed to snap it? So thankfully he mauls out their little QB draw to get the win, and the Eagles find themselves 10-1 right now, man. They have been off to an unbelievable start. They next week you got the 49ers. So that's an absolute stone cold matchup coming on up. As far as the Dolphins are concerned, the other piece of business, Jalen Phillips, we officially know, done for the season. Achilles tear, heartbreaking stuff when it comes to the Miami Dolphins star pass rusher. And, look, the only thing that gives you a little bit of light if you're a Dolphin fan with JP going down for the year is you've been in this position before. And I should also probably mention Teron Armstead is going to be out for some more time, which is discouraging but not surprising. The only thing that gives you a little bit of relief, if you're a Dolphin fan, these are 2 injuries they have already dealt with this year and have dealt with them quite well. Jalen Phillips, who looked like he was blossoming, honestly, into the star everybody thought he was going to be this year with how great he was playing since the Sunday Night Football game against the Eagles. He talked about his confidence. He talked about, boosting it after getting that sack on Lane Johnson. And for him to go down with this Achilles tear with this bum-ass MetLife Stadium turf. My guy Trevor, who is an Eagles fan, shout out Trevor, your Birds did it today. And my guy, I didn't feel great texting my guy Jake, my producer for Tapped. I didn't feel great texting him in Go Birds, but listen, you do a favor for the AFC, you should do a favor for the AFC East. This is one of them Instagram graphics, so take for it with a grain of salt. But it says it will be, 15 season-ending Achilles or ACL injuries at MetLife Stadium in the last 4 seasons. So since 2020, 21, 22, 23. That's crazy. And, McDaniel was asked about this this week because Raheem Mostert was pissed off about it, understandably so. And this is what McCoachin had to say on that.
For me, if I did know with factual evidence through study that that any sort of injury was 100% was avoidable on a different playing surface, that would make me lose my mind. I would flip over tables, and I'd probably. But I don't have that. But if that's there, it's super important because our game is a vessel of the best players performing. So if we're not doing everything we can to ensure that they have the ability to play, then we're being counterproductive and should just take a lesson from mice and run on a mouse wheel or hamster. Yeah. Run hamster laps. That'd be so. I don't know. I just hope everyone does their due diligence, and you kind of in my profession where I said I just have to believe that's being done, have been done, and going to be done. But it would be ignorant of me, meaning lack of knowledge, if I just said, "Yep, it was the surface." I don't know that. I hope it wasn't for sure.
I mean, I get it. Look, you're tiptoeing around being PC there, but here's the thing: we know that other organizations do things on the cheap skis more so than the Dolphins do. The Dolphins do everything, when it comes to spending. The one thing you could always say about Stephen Ross, that guy is not going to spare any expense. He has made Hard Rock Stadium this unbelievable facility. He's bringing F1 here, tennis, Super Bowls, national championships. Why? Because it's an A-class facility that also, by the way, has to share its field with a college team. I mean, they do everything they can to make that place top notch. And, you can sit here and you can say, oh, well, it's anecdotal because we're just taking a pocket of injuries and the players' word for it. The players know, dude. They're the ones putting their bodies out there, and they know when a field is trash, and that field is trash, dude. It's trash. And Raheem Mostert was pissed about it, and to lose it, you know, you not only lost, you know, probably your starting quarterback over it with the New York Jets, but now the Dolphins have their stud pass rusher and Jalen Phillips being gone. And then, you know, it's a tough one. And yeah, you know, Mike McDaniel said that Jalen Phillips is going to come back with a vengeance. I believe that too. Guy works like an absolute moose. He's been through tough injuries in his career before, you know, at one point retired from football. The guy, I think, can mentally get through this, but still sucks. I think the only thing I was getting to with the Dolphins, they have been at a point right now, they have lost Jalen Phillips at a point this year. Andrew Von Ginkel is an absolute menace. You know, Fangs loves him, and I think that he's going to unleash him in a big, big way. And then, you know, Kendall Lamb going in there for Teron Armstead. He did a fantastic job early on in the season too. And, you know, it's obviously a bummer not to have Teron, but this has been a rough year all around for him, basically since training camp, trying to get this body right. And you knew that was going to be the case when you signed him. There's not really much they could do about it. I mean, they got desperate signing a star talent that had a big flaw in his resume, which is he gets hurt a lot. So this is not going anywhere anytime soon. But, you know, the one thing that you can measure, the guards who stepped in for the Dolphins did very well. Shout out to Eichenberg, no pressures, and probably going to get Robert Hunt back. So, look, the Dolphins have been dealing with offensive line shovels the entire year. They have dealt with having to make good on pass rusher being out, and Van Ginkel did an awesome job. But, yeah, it's, you know, to lose talents like that is still a huge, huge bummer. But if it gives you any solace, let us not forget that the Bills are 6-6. Chew on that, Romo.